There's an old shop in Islington called Shram and Sheddle. Today it's a shop that sells preposterous plums. Fantastic. I love plums, all chewy and sweet. Once I went to the shop and I thought, what's in it? So I went inside. But when I got inside the shop, there was nothing. No plums. They were all gone. The shop was empty. What's the matter? Said the man in front of the desk. I say, where do you put your plums? And then he started crying. Then I said, what's the matter? What's the matter? And he said his plums died. There was this sickness. A kind of plums played, and all of his plums just fell over and died. After a few months of this, awful plums played, and all of the plums in the world are going to keel over and die. Oh no! The moment I dread when the plums are dying out. The project. We were doing a project. You know the kind of thing, mad scientist stuff. Our project was saving those wonderful, juicy and sweet plums from the plum plate. There we were reading my friend Hans, the scientist, and we stuck blue strips of paper onto white strips of paper. They were, I don't know, science stuff. I became the mad scientist king. I had to stop this place and save the plums. So then I grew magic science plums. They were tan plums. Wonderful. They were huge. They were taller than me. And I had this really long spoon to eat it with, and now everyone was looking at me. Oh, in the mouth. It was absolutely fucking horrible. My mouth is full of oil. Thick plum oil. Later that day, Dave came in and he said an inspector was coming in. His tight, warm ass. No. I'm the funniest in the land. You can't be trusted to do anything you're asked, can you? Well, actually, Dave said there was an inspector coming in. He was going to inspect our lab because we were going mad in the science lab. Growing horrible. You tan plums. That's really dangerous, you know. Oh no! And that's when we get into really big trouble. Later that day he came in, he had 231 moustache. There we all were, sitting in our rows, behind our desks, breathing very, very quietly. And he looked at our chest. And then our Bunsen burn ass. And he looked at our strips of paper and he said, that piece of paper, what is it? And I said, it's a dye. Oh yeah. It's a scientific dye. Fair enough, said the inspector. The inspector went on for ages, looking all round the science lab. After 3 hours of this, he said, oh, this is good. This is rather nice. Not you tan plums in sight. And we all said, yeah, no, that's right, an inspector. Any other day we'd have said, fuck off, you slimy little mouth breathing PC plod. Why don't you stuff a great big test to you up your arse? But I didn't say it, thank fuck. Then he turned to look at the door to the room where the you tan plums were growing. And he said, what is behind the door? Oh no! And I'm fiddling with the door. I lock it before he notices. He gets to my plum door. Let me in, said the inspector cheerily. No, I shouted. Why? He asked. Because it's really boring in there. Oh yeah, that's the room with tins full of screws in it. Fair enough. He said, and then the inspector went home. Wonderful. Not long after, a few days later, Harry Boat started shouting, fantastic. I've fucking done it. We said, what's the matter? What's the matter? And he said, I've got a plum that is immune to the plum plate, and I can clone hundreds and hundreds of them. I can save the plums from dying out. That's absolutely wonderful, said Dave. What do you think, Michael? But I just sit there staring at the plums, all chewy and sweet. I was starving. All I had for breakfast was 1 apple and 15 raisins. And so I shut my eyes. Kaboom.
Don't do it, Michael. I said, no, but I want to. Don't do it, Michael. I went, no, I want to. Michael, don't do it.
Then I ate the lot.
And I got all these slashes. And I can't stop myself. Oh no!
Kaboom.
It's all gone.
So then all the plums just fell over and died, except for my awful tan plums. And I cried. So sad. It's tea time, and we're sitting at the table. And I had loads to eat. I had cod and chips. The cod was huge, and there were hundreds of chips. Then Mum said, anyone want any afters? So I said, yeah, me. And she said, I've got a bag of tan plums for your afters. So I screamed, Mum, you know that I hate those slimy little tan plums. Then she's roaring, would you believe it, the little cunt? I'm telling you this, if you don't eat your bag of tan plums, I shall stuff a great big chunk of plums up your canal. And so I rushed past shouting, I'm the fastest in the land. Catch that prick, said my mum. But I went flying out the window, straight into the shed next door to my home. Slam! And it was Haribo's granddad's shed with tins full of man ice. Blimey. So then I shoved the door really hard and fast, and it bangs open. And I looked to see what there was. To steal, there was oil, thick cooking oil. Don't like that. There was jam jars without lids. Don't like that. And there was a hot gun. I like that. So then I took the gun. I was just about to leave when I saw something else. It was hiding in the corner of the shed under a great big sheet. And it was a time machine. Fantastic. It was then I remembered my mistake, eating the last plums in the world. So then I knew what I had to do. I press the silver button. The time machine starts roaring. And then we start the time travel. There I was, back in time. And then I saw my past self was sitting in front of me, and I saw him reach up to get to the plums. And so I cocked my pole and shot a gun. Then I give a shout, hey, Michael Rosen. Yes, said my past self. And then I screamed, time's up, bitch. No breathing. And he just fell over and died. Ha! And then I went home. When I got back, I looked around. And there were hundreds of plums, hundreds and hundreds of them. Lovely. So then I went to find Haribo to tell him about the Michael Rosen time travel. And he said, if that's true, how come you're here to tell the tale? You should be dead. Oh no, you're right, quite right. I cried, dead. I looked at my hands and they started fading away. I was vanishing out the space-time continued. And oh no, this is horrible. We never saw Michael Rosen again.